Hi everyone, I'm Meg, and today we are making for dinner chicken tikka masala, which is one of our favorites. The first thing you have to do when you're making this dish is marinate your chicken. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to prepare my marinade, which is essentially Greek yogurt based um, with a whole slew of spices. I know I already made a tikka masala spice mix. That mix is for the sauce. Um, the marinade has a slightly different mixture. I don't make my own spice mix for this because then I would get confused between the two in my cabinet. So I just make the marinade spice mix fresh. And we're going to get going with that. So we're going to measure out about a half cup of yogurt, which for me is about the rest of this container. So I'm just going to take everything out of here, and my Ginny girl doggy is already eyeing me because she loves to have the empty yogurt containers. She's jumping off the couch right now. And there she goes. So to this Greek yogurt, we're going to add, let me get mine out of the way. We're going to add a teaspoon of garam masala, 3/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder, and then for the rest of these spices, it's easy. It's just a half teaspoon for all of them. We have ginger, turmeric, cumin, and I use a chipotle powder, like a chipotle pepper powder that you can find pretty easily at any grocery store. Again, a lot of the traditional recipes call for a special kind of chili powder, Kashmiri, which I don't have in my spice cabinet, and I don't really like to have a whole bunch of specialty items that are only used in one dish. Kind of already have that here with the garam masala. I don't really use it for anything else. So I just make do with what I have. We're just doing a half a teaspoon of each of these and also half a teaspoon of salt. So you can prepare this marinade ahead of time. I usually will marinate this chicken the night before I plan to make this. Ideally, you want to marinate for at least 30 minutes at the bare minimum, but longer is generally better. Currently, it's still lunch-ish afternoon time frame here, although it's already getting dark outside, you can see. It's winter in New England. But yeah, so you want to let this marinate for a minimum of 30 minutes, but a few hours or something is also good. I normally would have done this last night. I was lazy and didn't feel like doing it, and so I'm doing it now. But this is a nice like weeknight meal if you do marinate it the night before ahead of time, because then when you get home from work, you start cooking, it comes together really quickly if the chicken has already been cut, marinated, and all of that. So this is looking pretty good. It basically looks like a nice spiced yogurt. And now we need to cut our chicken. Basically, I have about 5 chicken thighs here. I'm going to cut them into bite-sized pieces. And then I'm going to mix them up in the marinade and let it marinate in the fridge for however long until we're ready to start making dinner. I will trim away the really fatty bits and any part that looks particularly gross. But aside from that, I'm just going to cut it into bite-sized pieces. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands probably twice, and then I'm going to mix this up and get it in the fridge.
Wash twice, mix once.
Okay, clean hands. Now I'm going to just mix this up and get it in the fridge. You really just want to make sure that all of the chicken pieces are evenly coated with the spiced yogurt mixture. It already smells really good. I know that sounds probably gross to you because this is raw chicken, but the spices and the yogurt, I mean, it smells really good. Okay. Sorry about that. This is what it should look like. Nice marinated chicken. I'm going to wrap it with some saran wrap, stick it in the fridge, and then we'll be back later to actually make dinner. If raw chicken was breathing the same air as the area, you need to clean it. Okay, we're back and we're ready to start making this dinner because I'm getting hungry. So I'm warming up my pan right now over some medium heat. Gonna add a tablespoon or two of olive oil, enough to coat the pan. And then we will start browning our chicken. We don't need to fully cook it at this point. It will get returned to the sauce that we'll make from the drippings of this, and it will finish cooking in the sauce. So I'm just going to take my tongs, and that sizzle is a good sign. It's not worth it to do this in batches to make sure they fully get brown. It's okay if it's a little bit crowded. We just want to roughly start cooking it. And then, you know, all the flavor from the chicken is going to get into this pan, and it's going to help flavor our sauce. So yeah, just move the chicken around a little bit. Wait for it to maybe get like 80% of the way there in terms of being fully cooked. You don't want it to be very raw. Like, you want there to be no appearance of pink, but if it's not fully done, that's okay. It will finish in the sauce. I have a lot of chicken today, so this might take a little bit. It's a crowded pan. Okay, while the chicken is browning, I'm going to chop up my onion and garlic. That will help me get started on the sauce. I normally would do a good size medium to large yellow onion. Unfortunately, all I had left was this little tiny baby onion. It'll be fine, but it will probably, this smaller amount of onion will cook much faster probably than the normal amount of onion that I use. So I'll just be aware of that. If you have any tips and tricks for how not to cry when you're chopping an onion, I would love to hear them. I'm like very teary. It's a strong onion. Okay, our chicken needs our attention. Might be almost there. I like it to be mostly done. So I'll test some of my bigger pieces, see if I can cut them in half fairly easily, and that means that it's pretty much ready to be taken out. Needs a little bit longer. So I'm going to chop up my garlic. I have a couple cloves of garlic. I'm going to lower the heat because once I take this chicken out and all of its juices, I don't want the bottom of the pan to cook too quickly before I have a chance to melt in some butter and add my onion. This chicken looks good to me, so I'm going to take it out now and then add my onion. Okay, set your chicken aside. You're going to return it to the pan later. So now to my pan, I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of butter. I'll use up whatever this amount is. Looks like it's about a tablespoon. And then another tablespoon from here. Okay. Melt your butter into your pan, and then we're going to add the onion. And there should be some remaining juices from the chicken in there as well.
Let me handle that.
Okay, so our butter is melted. We're going to add our onion. And then we can turn the heat back up as well. I had lowered it. And if my sous chef wants to help stir these onions around and babysit this a little bit, I'll chop up the garlic.
Sure.
Thanks, Cutie. So we're going to saute the onion for a few minutes on its own, and then I'm going to add in some minced garlic, a couple cloves, cook that for another little bit, and then we'll add our spice mix. Okay, the onions are softened. They're looking translucent, so it's a good time to add the garlic.
Get that. The garlic.
Smells really good. Wow. Okay. So yeah, the garlic's been hanging out for a minute or so. Now we're gonna add a tablespoon and a half of our tikka masala spice mix. Stir that around, wake up the spices a bit, sort of toast them a little bit for about a minute, and then we're going to go straight in with the tomato puree.
Hey, Bubs.
Ginny, get down.
Hey, sweetie. She's like, you just took my plate, partner. You're out. That's
Clearly it smells good. Our dog is going crazy. Okay, you can immediately pick up the bottom.
You want to pick it up?
No.
Pick it up.
Yes, like that. Okay, that was a 10-ounce can of tomato puree that we used. And now it's looking good.
You want to take over?
Yeah. The lefty versus the righty. So we're going to cook this for about 10 to 15 minutes until it thickens a little bit and gets like sort of a brick red, reddish brown color. And then at that point, we will add an entire can of evaporated milk, as well as a teaspoon of brown sugar. We'll also add the chicken back at that point, and then simmer it for another 10 minutes or so. You definitely want to stir this occasionally. You don't want to just let it be. It will start to stick to the bottom if you do that. So just keep it moving. Eventually, after 10 or 15 minutes, it'll deepen in color and we'll be ready to add the milk. It's looking close. It's getting thicker. Probably just a few more minutes and we'll be there. Okay, this is looking ready. We're gonna add an entire can of evaporated milk. This is a 12-ounce can. Add it in slowly just because you don't want to splatter it everywhere. I've made that mistake and gotten red tomato sauce all over me. Slowly stir until it's fully incorporated. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of brown sugar and the rest of our chicken. Add the sugar straight in. Stir it around, and I'm going to also add the chicken back. My chicken was off to the side, just waiting for this moment. This is looking really delicious. It needs another 10 minutes. So also at this stage, you want to periodically stir it. You don't want to let it stick to the bottom. So keep an eye on things. Let that chicken finish cooking for about 10 minutes in the sauce. Keeping it on medium or medium low is probably the right move. This burner has a mind of its own. I'm just constantly adjusting it. I'm going to do something a bit unorthodox or not traditional and add some frozen spinach to this. It's not traditional, but I like to add a vegetable. There's no vegetables in this meal besides an onion, so we'll break up. So yeah, about a cup and a half of frozen spinach is going to go in here. You're not even really going to taste it. It's just going to add a little bit of nutrition and basically blend right into the sauce. I also will sometimes serve this with some roasted sweet potatoes. They go really good with it, like the sweet and spicy combo. I did not think to do that today, so at least we're getting some spinach. So yeah, the spinach has blended in to the sauce really nicely, and you can't even really taste it. It's such a flavorful, highly spiced meal that it blends right in. So this is looking ready. I think we're gonna plate this up with some rice. Basmati rice would be delicious and traditional. However, I didn't want to make my own rice today. We're already going through all this trouble to make this delicious takeout style meal at home. So we're taking a shortcut with the rice. We're gonna have the freezer friendly Trader Joe's rice that you heat up in the microwave really quickly. I think we chose jasmine rice is really good with this, but it's also good with their brown rice. So I'm gonna grab that. And we're gonna plate this up with some naan bread and have dinner.
Yep, the naan's ready. Got a bumps in the way. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. She's gonna yell for me.
Okay, we have our naan, we have our rice. It's time to plate up our chicken. This looks so good. My stomach is like growling. This makes probably about 4 or 5 servings worth, maybe 6. I'm not sure if it's freezer friendly. It never lasts that long in our house. We eat it.
Thank you. No, no,
I'm blowing on it.
no, 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 no. Cheers.
Cheers. Mm. Wow,
That's fantastic.
that's delicious.
And the spices.
That's so good.
Rice. Frozen rice. It hits.
Well, we have to cook it.
Yes, after it's cooked.
A little bit of naan bread. Sup with the sauce. Delicious. And that's dinner. Take out at home.
Thanks for stopping by.